here on Twitch. And Neil, I think we have a special guest we need to bring in now.
Ooh, pause for Ed. Learn that from Kenny Mayne. Listen, there he is. Oh my God, just the best. I mean, if you're gonna have an initial show and you can get Chris Berman on it, oh my,
boys,
don't even know what to say. This past Sunday, ESPN celebrated its 46th birthday. Chris Berman, the only remaining employee from the company's first year. Boom, it's great to see you.
listen, fellas, same as it ever was. I mean, I should probably quote other songs. And by the way, I thought you were Neil Everett. Why is it Neil Young behind you? Do you have a heart of gold? I mean, is that really the what we're now? The over/under on me quoting rock and roll was under 60 seconds. Okay,
right.
And of course we have Neil Young over here, and we got Stan Raspberry Verrett. Until I thought it was Verrett. It kind of screwed up the nickname back then, but just seeing you guys puts a smile on my face. You know, I loved every minute of the sport. I didn't stay up for all of them, okay? But you guys did Sports Center the way I remembered it, and it's great to see you two together. And it's just a perfect picture. Me in the middle is kind of blurring it, that's all.
Chris, I got to tell you, when I first got to ESPN, I was a little intimidated by all the people who just like a week earlier I had been watching on TV, and now all of a sudden they're colleagues, and you know, you were tops on that list. I was like, that's Chris Berman. I mean, Sunday NFL Countdown and NFL Primetime especially. NFL Primetime was the best hour of television for my money the whole week for all the years you and Tom did the show. I mean, I'm an NFL nut, grew up as a diehard Saints fan, and so watching that show was always fantastic. So my first week, I'm walking down the hall, and your good buddy Tom Riley, who was one of the producers on the show I was doing then on ESPN News, you know, you and him had apparently had a conversation. And I'm walking down the hall, and I don't know if you remember this, and you said, hey man, my buddy Ryle says you can play. And if Ryle says you can play, I know you can play. Good luck, kid. And I was like, first of all, Chris Berman knows who I am. And secondly, Chris Berman said nice things about my work. And, you know, that stuck with me. It gave me the confidence that I needed at that point in my career to feel like, okay, I belong here. I can make it here.
Well, you guys both, and Neil, but Stan, you proved it right out of the gates. The reason you knew who I was and I knew who you were, there's this thing called lower third. Like, so people think it's just on the TV screen. It actually is a little string that hangs with our name below it. I'm kidding. So I knew you were Raspberry Verrett. Not Riles. Oh my God. I mean, he was here when I was in '79. I mean, he was in my wedding, our wedding. I could go on and on. Godfather to his child. Yeah. No, you guys both could play. We had an expression. Could they have played in the '80s? And that and both of you guys passed that with flying colors. And people miss you on our air. I mean, we miss you with us. But this is the beauty that it's reunited, and it feels so good. I mean, I can do better than that song, but
no, Peaches and Herb, that's a classic. Come on, man.
You're right. Peaches and Herb, right? That's if you go to Whole Foods.
Boom. I remember in the vein of what Stan was saying, the first time I met you walked into the room and I was like, oh my God. And you gave me the grunt, and then you gave me the shaka, and you said, aloha. And I'm like, I'm in. And that was the whole conversation right there. And I was like, oh man, Boom knows who I am, and I definitely know who he is.
Well, there it is again. All right. So, you were a legend in Hawaii. And of course, I lived there part-time. And it's nice to have a connection with someone. Look, I can't say I was in those shoes because there were only about 75 of us in the building in 1979, the one building that we had. So, but we've all gone to a place where we don't know if we're, not that you weren't welcome, but did we belong? That's different than you're not welcome. You guys are always, we like to think that everybody is always welcome until proven otherwise. And even so, you're a member of the team. But, it wasn't that long ago that there are places that I might go like, hey, early 80s or mid 80s. Here I am trying to interview someone in a locker room after, let's say it's New York. I'm not saying that in particular. And you kind of move in and ask a question, and all the veteran writers back in the day or TV like turn around like, who is this? And then if the player happened to recognize you because ESPN was in places that even maybe New York didn't get it right out of the gates, but that helped break the ice. They inadvertently did it for me. So I remember those times, and hey, once you guys got on the air, we all knew. Look, we're talking about sports. This isn't brain surgery, right?
Yep.
Too many people think it's brain surgery. It's not. If you saw my brain, you would. So maybe you need some, but that's what we're doing, and we're all trying to relate to the viewer or the listener or both. And you guys could do that, and that's what ESPN I think has been about for 46 years. I can't believe you. I mean, Neil, you said it, and Stan, that I'm the last of the Mohegans, if that's the right thing to say. That at least on staff from '79, if you asked me at 24, did you think A, ESPN would be this? Of course not. B, do you think you'd still be here at 40? Let's say 30, but I started at 24 years old. Would you be here at 40, let alone 70? I mean, come on. So I still pinch myself when I go in to do this version of NFL Primetime with Booger, which is Tommy 2.0. I still talk to Tommy every week. Friendship between Tom and I, you mentioned Primetime, it's the same as between Stan and Neil here. Real friendship on the air, it shows through if you're really friends. Then you're not really working at it. Then right. We've already picked up a few first downs before the show kicks off, right? To use a football term. And that's what Tommy and I, we not were as in are in friends, but I'm glad that's shown through very early in NFL Primetime. And that show, I mean, you're going to put that on my professional tombstone. That would be, whenever that is, it's going to be hopefully the first thing, and I'm sure you guys feel the same way. Was he a good guy? He did NFL Primetime. I mean, those right. would be the two things I would hope the most would be there.
So, Chris, in the chat, we got a Dragon Jim says, can we get a circle the wagons after that Buffalo Bills comeback the other night? How about that? How great was Josh Allen, Chris?
It's a reminder that this is 2025, but still, that no one circles the wagons, and I'm toning it down, like the Buffalo Bills. It was who knows where it's going to go? We're the first week of September, right? I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
But this is this version. It was almost as if, not quite, because it's September versus late January, that Mahomes, Josh Allen, 13 seconds, 4 touchdowns or 4 scores in the last 2 minutes, 4 scores, 7 years to go in the last 2 minutes. The playoff game, maybe, in Buffalo, who knows? The worm turning, I wouldn't count. Baltimore got 40 points on the road.
Yep.
So this isn't, but Josh is, here's the thing, and I'm being honest, and tell you guys are neutral here. This isn't rooting Buffalo over Baltimore because I'm very close with Baltimore too. 2012, they made me look good. I was the only one on them, and then Joe Flacco threw the ball in Denver, and then they went to New England, and then they beat the 49ers when the lights went out. Stan, I think you did the switch there in New Orleans that time.
Actually, buddy of mine is the CEO of the utility company. He was at the time. One of my golf buddies in New Orleans, and he's watching the game in the suite, having a good time, entertaining clients, and all of a sudden, the lights go out. He's like, "Oh my God, I got to get out of here!" So he ran out, and he said he almost ruined a really nice pair of loafers trying to help out to get the thing back on.
That was, I didn't mean to make a left-hand turn. There could be another. I have theories on why that happened, but never. That's not the question you asked me. I could listen. Ask my producers if you got to keep it to 3 minutes. All of them have gray hair. I mean, because I could keep it to 30 minutes. So, what the Bills this year, just to bring it to present, two things. Not all, Their biggest games are all at home this year. The last year in the Ralph. They have Baltimore at home. They get the Chiefs at home in October. They have the Eagles at home in December. They have Tampa at home. Doesn't mean you couldn't lose to people on the road. I get it. But they're aiming for that 1 seed. And that game, that 1 point difference, we'll see in January how that adds up. Baltimore will have a lot to say about it. The Chiefs will have a lot to say about it. And so will an unknown AFC team. A known team, but one that we haven't identified yet. But here's what I was going to say. Don't you guys think, if your team is playing the Bills, you're rooting for your team. I get it.
Right.
Aren't they kind of America's team? Like, who would not want to see them last year at Stadium, which doesn't mean much out of Western New York to others, but it's Josh Allen. It's Buffalo. We know the history. And by the way, all those years I picked Buffalo and San Francisco, maybe it's Buffalo playing the Super Bowl in San Francisco. And maybe the Niners, I don't know. But they're kind of America's team. There's no diss on Dallas, but would anyone really root against them unless their team was involved? What do you think?
You know, I watched that the Buffalo Bills documentary. I believe it was a 30 for 30 series, but I watched it recently. And they really, really were sympathetic figures in the 90s because they just kept getting there and they were so great in the regular season and the AFC playoffs. They get there and then they just fall flat 4 times in a row. And so now, you know, you look back on it now, you're just like, wow, to get to 4 Super Bowls is an amazing achievement. You know, we live in this championship or bust culture now where if you don't win it all, then you failed. You know what I mean? But they didn't really fail. And to see those guys, like I saw Thurman Thomas at the game the other night, and so to see those guys connect with this team thinking, hey, these guys can bring a measure of redemption for everything we went through, and to see those guys sort of mentoring these current Bills. I mean, it does make you root for them. You know, I'm a Saints fan, first of all, so I don't root for anybody else in the NFC. AFC is kind of like, okay, fine. If we get to the Super Bowl, we'll beat you. Good luck. But so I don't really care about the AFC as much. But I see what you're saying. I can see how a lot of people would be rooting for Buffalo.
Well, here's another big game they have at home, the Saints.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah.